guys, Coding is back, and today we're going to be covering CSS units. So the reason I'm covering this is not to bore you with some information. It's actually because I'm gonna be, because you might be seeing a lot of code with CSS units such as px or pixels, rem, em, vw, vh, which is basically viewport width and viewport height. And there are many other units that I'm gonna be telling you about. Some of them look, in fact, are ridiculous to me, but yeah, don't follow my opinion on the units, or just choose whatever units you're comfortable with and you can use it. So I'm not going to be judging you on that. So without further ado, let's get started. So in case you like the content of my channel and feel that you actually get something, please subscribe and hit that like button and smash up some nice comments if you liked it. And yep, let's get started. So I'm just gonna make an index HTML and a style CSS. So I have emit, which is a plugin, and it allows me to generate all of the general boilerplate code. And yeah, you could use that. And as for the theme I'm using a new theme called IU Mirage Bordered. So you have to install that from extensions. Just type IU or AU, and then you could just download this, and then you'll find all of these. So as for this, I'm going to rename it to CSS Units. And I'm going to get a link tag with our yellow style sheet. This is just a basic markup that we're doing. In case you don't understand this, I have an entire video dedicated to HTML. So please do check that out. I cover all this in detail there. So now I'm just going to make a wrapper or a container div, which will encapsulate basically everything that we're going to do. And I'm just going to count the number of units that we're going to be using. So that's going to be centimeters, millimeters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 units. I'm just going to keep this side to the side and put a div. You could just copy all of this out. It's really not a pain. Or you could just you could just type it out, or you could check the GitHub, or I'm actually going to be linking this in CodePen. Check out the CodePen below, which will contain all of my HTML and CSS code. You could just copy up this snippet here, but I'm just going to be typing it out real fast. 16, right? So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Perfect. And now M, and then Q, and then inches, inches, and then pikers, and then points, and then pixels. Now we go to relative units, EM, and then EX, and then CH, and then REM, LH for line height, viewport width, viewport height, viewport minimum, and then we forgot one of it, viewport maximum. So I'll just close the sidebar, and I'm just gonna be changing these real quick. Inches and PCs, and I'll come back when I'm done. Okay, so now I'm back with all of these generated properly, and I'm going to be considering 5 of each of these units so that it'll be better for you and you can actually you compare with each of these units properly. First, we're going to be starting with the absolute lengths. Some of them you might know, suppose for your math class, from your math classes or something like that. But I'm just going to make some empty boilerplate here. And 0. It's just good practice, box size and border box. And just so you people might like it, I'm gonna give a header with a class of header, and then I'm just gonna give CSS units. Okay, and then I'm just gonna give some basic styling to the header, BG, and then 333, and then color white, and then FF sans serif. And I'm just going to open this up with live server and see how this goes. So this is how it is. I'm just going to make the header a little bigger, and I'm going to make the header a little bigger. So I'm going to make the height about 70 pixels. This is getting too rhetorical. I'm going to explain to you about that, and then just get it like that. So font size 45 pixels, much better. And then I'm just gonna go for body VGC of for F4FR, and then that's like gray color, and then I'm gonna get F of sans serif, and then I'm just gonna make these a little larger. Font size about 30 pixels. 30 pixels way too big. 20. That's pretty good. And then so now I'm going to start with centimeters. So centimeters, as you might learn from school, are those tiny points on a ruler. And the definition that they gave here is 1 centimeter equals to 96 pixels, which is 1 inch, divided by 2.54. So that's a pretty big deal. They're making a big deal of it. And but this is supposed to be a proper definition, because you see 196 of a pixel is an inch, so this is essentially 1 inch. So 1 inch divided by 2.54 is the value which you need to divide by to get 1 centimeter. I'm not going to be explaining any math here though, but that was just for you. And then I'm going to select centimeter, give the width of 5 centimeters, and I'm going to give it a background color so you guys can see it. Color of light blue. So this is 5 centimeters. And now let's go check out 5 millimeters. I'm not gonna be. I don't think I'll be explaining inches and then millimeters and centimeters because you've already learned them from school most probably. And I'm gonna make the width of 5 millimeters and BGC of light green. And let's check it out. Yeah, this is 5 millimeters. It's not even big enough to cover this entire word. And then 5Q. 5Q seems ridiculous. I mean, who would name a unit Q? I mean, like, that's just a little dumb, but I'm not going to blame anybody about that. They must have had their own thoughts about making it. But a quarter of a millimeter. He could just do 0.5 millimeters and multiply by whatever he wants, but okay. I am not going to hold that against anybody right now. So let's see. Just going to make the width 5Q. I don't know, it just makes me feel very strange when I'm like, I want 5Q of this. It's so weird. Okay, imagine you go to a coffee shop and then I don't know, a coffee shop, and then you say, I want 5Q of mercury. That would be so dumb. So this is 1/40th, so I'd multiply by 5, so that's going to be 1/8 of a centimeter. This is going to be 1/10 of a centimeter. 1/8 is supposed to be greater than 1/10. Is this capital? It always changes to small. I wonder. Oh, this is 1/40th of a centimeter. quarter millimeter. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not quarter centimeter. Yeah, this is definitely supposed to be smaller than mm, but I never used Q. I never knew there was a Q until now. So yeah, inches, and we could get the into width to 5 inches. This is weird too, but it's actually fine because we're aware of it. We could use it without any trouble, without having to learn anything. So 5 inches is a lot, so it gets stretched out until here. And now 5 pikers. So pikers are quite big. .pc. So pikers are pretty big, not bigger than inches, but they're 1/6 of an inch. So this will almost equal 1 inch, 5 pikers, but it's actually 6 pikers. So no problem. Of light green. Yeah, you see this almost covers up 1 inch, and yeah, it's pretty okay. And now we go to points. That's another ridiculous unit. I mean, who will use, like, I want 1 point. So yeah, pixel is essentially like the standard form. So I agree that people would want to use it, but points seems weird. I'm just gonna show you. So don't take my words and quote on them, or just believe that all of these are stupid or dumb or anything like that. I might not like it. For you, it might be one of the best units that you're gonna use. So yeah, it might be okay. So light coral. So yeah, so this is 5 points. So nice. It barely covers up the 5. Actually, it doesn't even cover up the 5. So let's go for pixels. So pixels are pretty small, but working with the computer, you should know all about pixels. Um, there are Pixels are actually pretty good. It's like the standard measurement of computer sizes and widths. Suppose for YouTube thumbnail, you would require 1280 pixels as the width, and then 750 pixels as the height. So yeah, that's like the standard unit that people use. So this is, yeah, 5 pixels, pretty small. And now we get to the relative units. So relative units are basically, it depends on another unit. So let's get to EM. I'll explain what it is in a moment right here. So EM, it says your font size of the parent in case of the typographical properties like font size, and font size of the element itself in the case of other properties like width. So EM, what it basically is what it essentially is um, it takes the default font size of the root, and it gives a size relative to that. Suppose I give the width of 5 em. So by default, HTML's normal text size, font size is 16 pixels. So that's essentially, wait, no, I'm so sorry. Font sizes of the parent. So in this case, EM, I confused it with REM. So EM, its parent element is the wrapper. So it depends on the wrapper. So we didn't actually specify, any font size for the wrapper exclusively. So it's not going to change. And the default is just going to be 16 pixels. So this width is going to be 80 pixels. And yeah, that's how it's gonna be. So wait 1 second, let me just finish this light blue. Yeah, so you see 5 em is this much, but I'm just gonna give the wrapper here a font size of 20 pixels. You see it changed a little bit. I'm just gonna make it 40 so you can see the difference. Wait, what the hell just happened? Wait, what? Oh, I made this div larger. So wrapper em, I need a way to change it. So for the wrapper, I can make the font size so all of these appear like that. Wait, so for this, instead of the wrapper, which contains nothing, I'm just gonna give this a div with a class of example. It's gonna contain this em element, so I'm just going to paste that in, and now I'm going to change the font size of the example. What it did before, changing as a wrapper, was stupid, so now I'm going to change the font size so you can observe the difference. 40 pixels. I know the text size increases because there is a text. Even without the text, the length of the specific comment this out and you save it. So yeah, the length becomes smaller. It doesn't actually depend on the font size. The height depended on the text font size. So without say we remove the text. Okay, I'm gonna add it back for you, but for now let's just remove it. Okay, and then we save it. And then we come here, we uncomment this, save it. Wait, let's just give it this height of 10 pixels right now. Yep, you see it gets, suppose I change it to 30 pixels. You see it gets slightly shorter depending on the font size or the width of the parent element. So I'm just going to comment this out and comment this out too. And I'm going to get this 5em back. So now you perfectly notice that em is dependent on the parent element of that particular child element. So hopefully that's not confusing for you. And X height of elements font. What the hell is that? X height. So I'm thinking elements font, the height of it in the X height. Or wait. It depends on the font size of the elements font. Wait, height of the elements font. Okay, I don't actually understand this. I've never seen Q, E, X, or CH. I mean, I've heard of CH, but I didn't actually, like, research it or anything like that. And yeah, those three, I think I'm just gonna delete them. I mean, I don't even know about them. They're hardly ever used. And yeah, hardly anyone knows about them, give or take. So I'm not going to be covering these two. Let's jump right to REM. So this is probably the part that you were waiting for, comparison of REM and EM. So REM is a little easier to understand. So it might be a little hard to put it up on this board here, or this chart, or this cheat sheet right here. So because it contains all of this text. But REM essentially, one second, let me breathe. REM is relative to the root of it's relative to the root of the entire file. So the root here in this case is the HTML tag here. So this is the root, and by default it's 16 pixels. So if I were to go to my Google settings, the hell? Wait one sec. I'm just gonna go here. Is there settings here? What? Okay, forget it. So if I increase the size of my Google, if I increase the size, wait, let me just try again. Google, wait, settings. Just go for settings. Settings. Manage your Google settings. Google settings, and then where's that? I'm gonna go to my Google account. Oh, this is my personal one. But no problem. security, is that it? I'm gonna go to settings. So wait, is there the font? No, but in usual Google settings, there's supposed to be a font. If you increase that, it increases the font size of the root, which increases the length. So yeah, it is dependent on the default, not the default, the font size of the particular element. So hopefully that is clear to you. I'm just gonna make it here 5 rem. Oh, I made these both light blues. Supposed to be light green. And then BGC light coral. Wow, oh my god, I thought something just happened there. So you see, I've increased the font size of the example. With the example and the EM are supposed to stay the same. Oh, I changed the font size here to 20 pixels of the entire body. So this EM is essentially 100 pixels. So this length is 100 pixels, while the root still remains at 16 pixels. We didn't actually give any change to the HTML, like example FF, no, font size with 30 pixels. I'll just get this chart into Mayhem. Oh yeah, it didn't. Cool. So you see the font size with 30 pixels, and then this rapidly just increase because it's dependent on the HTML root element. So yeah, I'm just gonna be commenting this too. We are not gonna comment the entire thing. I'm just gonna comment this line, and I'm just gonna take this, put it right here. Yep, so that's better, and it just shrinked back. And now I'm going to be talking about the line height, LH. So line height essentially changes if you change the line height. That must be obvious, but I'm going to be giving you an example. So width of 5LH, and I'm going to get a background color of I forgot which one, light blue. So line height. What the bloody hell is that? Just make that bigger. Let me try changing the line height. Try changing the line height 0.5. I've never worked with it before. I thought I could handle it because I've seen it somewhere, but apparently not. I still got a little bit to learn. So getting back to one of the most important units, that's viewport width. People assume that saying the width equals 100% equals to essentially it taking the entire refers to that element taking the entire full screen. That's wrong. So viewport width is essentially anything in this window that you can see. So this entire thing. Okay, wait 1 second. Okay, I'm just gonna take the help of the app FIGMA, and try and explain it to you. Suppose I'm just gonna take a triangle here, a rectangle, sorry, and change this to white. So the viewport width, I'm gonna make a line here, and then I'm gonna take an arrow. So this entire thing is the viewport width. And let me just increase it so you can see it. Yep, so this entire width is the viewport width. And as for the viewport height, that's the viewport height. And I'm gonna see if I can actually, bam. Wait, so I'm just gonna go make it like that. Or you know what? Yeah, you did that. I'm just gonna write VH here for viewport height. Okay, that's better. Now print 3D. So yep. And now just imagine that this is divided into 100 different segments. Oh my god, I wish I could draw here. But let's see if I can draw. Okay, wait. Let's see what I can do. I can slice this? Nope. But you get the point, right? So we divide this entire viewport width into 100 pieces, and we divide the viewport height into 100 pieces, and one viewport width is equal to one of those 100 pieces. So it essentially depends on the size of the screen width. So I hope I've made that clear. Remember, I'm gonna be giving this entire picture to you in the description for as reference. So width of 5 viewport width, and then background color of light blue, and then save that. It's gonna come back. Yep, so this is 5 viewport width. So see, if I automatically increase it, okay, I'm gonna go decrease, increase. You see how that little blue bar goes increasing and decreasing? It depends on the viewport of the width. That means like how much ever of the width that you can see. Full screen, it's at its maximum. And let's just go play viewport height. So you probably would have understand. For this, I'm just width to height. Okay, I'm just gonna try that. This is gonna go crazy weird. And background color of light blue. So okay, so if I go on if I go on dragging this height thing, you see its width changing. So usually you use viewport height for the height, but in this case I haven't actually prepped it up properly for me to use it in the height. So yeah, that's the problem. And this is supposed to be light green actually. Light green. And then viewport minimum and viewport maximum. So I'm gonna go into responsive mode and open my developer tools. Inspect. I'm gonna go into mobile view to responsive. Responsive mode. Yep. And yep, I can shape it up how I want. Wait, I'm supposed to be able to shape it up from bottom and top. Okay, these both toolbars. Okay, I'm good with that. Oh my, not my developer tools. Sorry. So dot vmin. I think I ought to just zoom in here. It doesn't work. So please just adjust it, okay? I'm so sorry about that. Or I could just try bringing it this side and bringing my Visual Studio Code by this much, and then could just increase the height by about 1800 pixels. Oh my god, that just makes stuff weirder. I'm gonna give this to 100 pixels. Yeah, so 100% so you can see it for now. And so for Vmin, I'm gonna instead of explaining it first, I'm gonna show you light core. So here it takes the value of whichever side, whether it's the height or the width, whichever side is. Oh my god, wait. If the height is smaller than the width, it takes the height for the viewport minimum. if the width is smaller than the height, it takes the width for the viewport minimum. So I'm just going to try and make this smaller than the height. So I'm going to make it 200. So the width is pretty small. It's going to respond to the width until I exceed, you see, now it no longer responds to the width because the width is greater than the height. And now I'm going to move this, and you see now it works for viewport minimum. See, that's the way it goes, and it's pretty nice. So now for viewport maximum, as you can guess, it is the exact same thing except that it follows the maximum, whichever side has the maximum number, has the maximum length. Oh my god. Whichever side has the maximum length, it's gonna respond to that. So suppose I have this one. Okay, I'm gonna make this full screen. So I make it longer and longer, it's gonna respond to that. But now once this is smaller, it's gonna respond to this. So yeah, that's pretty cool, right? That's the way it works, and truthfully this gets up pretty nice. And so yeah, you can tinker with this all you want. And I'm gonna be linking the code, and I'm going to be linking my code in the description, as well as this documentation, and most probably a picture of this so you can understand, divided into grids of 100 by 100 maybe, or I might just write it here for you to understand. So yep, I'm just going to write it right now. The viewport width is divided into 100 pieces and is then called with it's called using that. It's not pretty good, but that's the best explanation I can give. Viewport height is so I'm just gonna make this a little smaller. This about 25. I'm just gonna drag this up a little. Maybe 23, and drag this down a little. That's perfect, and I'm going to be sharing the screenshot of this for you so you can use this to your own benefit. And so this is it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I said this multiple times, but I'm gonna be showing the code, the picture, and what else, and the docs in the description below, so be sure to check that out if you're interested in more of these. It contains CSS values as well for like RGB, and say contains a lot more documentation. In case you're interested, please check that out. It contains hexadecimal RGB values and all that, but currently it's not that important, so you can just learn that on the flow, and it's pretty easy. So yeah, you can check that out if you want. It's gonna be in the description, and you're gonna be like, hey, stop saying that, you said it like so many times already. And okay, humor me right now. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.